Imagine a world where nearly 100 nations find their exports suddenly burdened by escalating tariffs. This is the current reality as new tariffs introduced by the Trump administration take effect. Just recently, the White House announced a sweeping set of reciprocal import duties, which began at the very start of Thursday morning, Washington time. These rates are designed to make foreign products more expensive in the U.S., potentially discouraging imports and encouraging domestic production. A week ago, the White House revealed these new tariffs just before an existing deadline on August 1st was scheduled to pass. Earlier on Thursday, President Trump declared on social media that this move would funnel billions of dollars into America's economy. Yet, there's a catch. These customs duties increase the cost of imported goods, pushing up prices for consumers and businesses alike. Since importers often pass these costs along at the checkout. In his typical bold style, Trump emphasized that the only thing threatening America's greatness was a hypothetical left-leaning court, currently reviewing whether he had overstepped his authority with these tariffs. The rates have wide-ranging implications, from 41% for war-torn Syria to as low as 10% for the UK. But the real story lies in how these are layered on top of existing tariffs, dramatically hiking the total costs. For example, Brazil's initial reciprocal rate is 10%, but following an executive order related to recent political prosecutions of former President Jair Bolsonaro, Brazil now faces a combined rate of 50%. Meanwhile, the European Union's baseline tariff, set at 15% after their trade agreement, includes previous tariffs, meaning some products, such as cheese, will see their import duties double from about 14.9% to 29.9%, impacting prices for consumers and businesses. Since the announcement, governments worldwide have scrambled to negotiate deals or find ways to mitigate these new border taxes, fearing they might scare off investment and lead to job losses. Countries like Switzerland have actively sought to influence U.S. policymakers. Swiss officials recently crossed paths in Washington in an effort to revoke unexpectedly high tariffs, including a 39% duty that caught their government off guard. India's tariffs could also double, from 25% initially to 50% after Trump signed an executive order retaliating against India's purchase of Russian oil. India has a 3-week window to respond, and Trump has hinted he might use similar tactics against other nations supplying Russia. This wave of tariffs was first announced on April 2nd, which Trump called Liberation Day, accused the rest of the world of exploiting the U.S. for decades. After a brief 90-day pause and another 4-week truce, the new comprehensive tariffs were solidified last week. Some countries managed to negotiate reductions or exemptions, such as the UK, Japan, South Korea, and the EU, while others, like Canada and Mexico, managed to stave off immediate increases. Looking ahead, China faces a 30% tariff, with negotiations still ongoing, and a September deadline looming for potential hikes. Trump also threatened to impose a near 100% tariff on semiconductors imported from nations outside the U.S., especially those that are not manufacturing domestically or plan to do so. And this is just the beginning. These tariffs are reshaping global trade dynamics in ways that could spark intense debate. Do these protectionist policies benefit the U.S. in the long run, or do they risk igniting a global trade war? Share your thoughts. What's your take on this new wave of tariffs, and do you see them as a necessary leverage or a dangerous gamble?